I got one special one I want to give, just so everybody understands, for everything that he has gone through, for everything that he's worked for. He deserved this win. Yeah!
A few moments later.
It has been quite the fall for Wentz, who of course lost his job to Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, then was traded to the Colts, was cut after one season there. Now he's been cut again after 1 year.
Are you ready for some football?
Gotta love the NFL offseason. Seems like Carson Wentz, year in and year out, makes a big splash for NFL offseason news. This might be the last time though. Welcome back to 32 Deep, where we cover all things fantasy football, 32 teams deep. I'm the commissioner of the NRA, which is the NFL Replica Association, and we've got 32 teams in there. Pretty deep league. Past couple of episodes, I've done division previews. On this episode, we have the NFC North preview. Just like in that intro bit, the NFC North quarterback position is pretty unstable. There's a lot of question marks, a lot of mediocrity in that area for this entire division. All four teams have a big question mark at their quarterback positions. You'll see as we go through it. The NFC North strength of schedule, it's pretty weak compared to the last two divisions we went over. You've got Detroit near the bottom. They've got the 31st toughest strength of schedule. It's going to be easy for them to rack up some wins this year, hopefully. Last year they were en route to a winless season, but managed to pull out a win, so that was exciting. The other three teams are hovered in the lower half of the league standings. We'll see if this division can make some noise this year, given their strength of schedule is not that bad. When I was reviewing all the teams in this division, overall thought that came to mind was that it was pretty mediocre.
Mediocre, at best.
The teams in this division are pretty weak. So if you're paired with this division this season, kudos to you. Pretty lucky. You know, one of these teams might actually surprise and be a dominant team. I don't think so, but let's get into the details. So in fourth place, we've got the Minnesota Vikings. You look at their team, they have some young talent. They got Chris Olave, which was a good draft pick. James Cook, I think there was news out that he was gonna get more playing time, so if he could explode in that Buffalo offense, that spells a lot of good things for this Minnesota Vikings NRA team. Devin Duvernay did have a stretch last season that ended pretty abruptly. Can't expect him to do anything this season. Outside of that, there's no one else really on this team. You've got Zach Wilson, who is just outside of being a bust. I think the Jets are doing everything they can to tell them that they didn't waste their second overall pick on him. Maybe Aaron Rodgers goes and fixes him. You've got to hope, as the owner of the Minnesota Vikings, that he does. Look at the draft picks, though. This person has the third overall pick. They actually just traded down to get an extra first-round pick. I think that was a brilliant move. If I'm this team, I'm thinking if I like CJ Stroud or Bryce Young just the same, or maybe they even like Will Levis, it makes sense to make that trade down, get that extra pick. Good move by the Vikings. Moving on to the third place prediction. We've got the Detroit Lions. So Detroit has two quarterbacks. One of their quarterbacks is Andrew Luck, who definitely won't make a comeback despite this team hoping he does. And you've got Kyler Murray, who suffered a pretty bad knee injury late in the season. A lot of talk of him not coming back until maybe mid-season this year. It's a lot of games. Gonna hurt this team in the long run. This team does have two good young wide receivers. And by good, I mean, you know, good potential. Drake London, more so than Treylon Burks. Once Ritter started at quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, Drake London started taking off. You've got to hope that continues into next season. Treylon Burks, he had some good games, more bad than others, but maybe adjusting to life in the NFL for the first year was a little too much for him. Maybe he picks it up this season. They do have Dallas Goedert, who is, in the top tier of tight ends. Other than that, they're hoping Javonte comes back. Reports are saying that he could be healthy for the start of the season. There was also another report that said he's going to miss some time during the season. You don't really know. If Javonte comes back, early in the season, I could see this team making a push for perhaps second place in the division. That kind of shows how bad this division is. But one thing this team can hang their hat on is that they have the #1 overall pick. I wonder who they're going to pick. I mean, we all know it's probably going to be Bijan Robinson, but who knows? Anything can happen, right? Maybe they go with Bryce Young. Trade Kyler Murray away for a nice running back. And plenty of ways to go about it, but, he's probably taking Bijan. I think he even said that before. Moving on to the second place prediction. It's going to be the Chicago Bears. Now, this team has two big studs, DK Metcalf and the Mandrews. Those are pretty good players to build a core around. The surrounding cast is not too bad either. You've got Tyler Lockett, who's going to put up points with his teammate DK Metcalf. Quite a coincidence. You also have Hunter Renfrow, who is 1 year removed from a wide receiver 1 season. Hopefully he returns back to form with whoever starts at quarterback in this Josh McDaniels offense. Usually the small white receiver makes quite a big impact, so looking for a Hunter Renfrow bounce back this season. I'm also seeing they don't really have a quarterback. If Tyler Huntley starts for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson departs, not a good thing for Ravens fans. I mean, Mark Andrews will probably still produce no matter what, but Tyler Huntley, I don't know. This team doesn't have any draft picks this year, so they're not going to get help there. This team probably needs to make some trades if they want to improve their position. All right, so that leaves the Green Bay Packers as the #1 team in this division. This is the most decent team of decent teams, and the big reason why is because they have a quarterback. They have Derek Carr, but unfortunately Derek Carr's situation is not exactly clear. Big question mark on real life Derek Carr, where he's going to end up. If he ends up on the Jets, that's really good. If he ends up on the Panthers, that's not as good. I know he's talked to the Saints quite a bit. He's definitely playing the field. He's on the, NFL team Tinder, swiping left and right. He's going to end up somewhere, regardless of where he ends up. The Green Bay Packers has a quarterback advantage over the rest of the division. Contributors such as DJ Moore and George Kittle, those guys will be solid next year. And then you also have promising young players such as Rashad White, might be the lead in that backfield. There's news of Leonard Fournette. The Bucs are going to cut him, so he could end up leading that backfield. Rashid Shaheed had quite an unexpected solid fantasy season, so if that continues next season, that would spell good for this team. As far as draft picks, they only have one late second rounder. That's likely not going to make a difference. If this team grabs first place in the playoffs, that's good enough for them. Anything can happen in the playoffs. So it looks like this team, I predict, will make it again for the second year in a row. Well, there you have it. There's the NFC North preview and predictions. Let me know what you think, whether you agree or disagree on some of those takes. I think this division is probably the worst division I've covered so far. Be interesting to see if I'm proven wrong. I'm probably the most sure about this division prediction episode than the other ones I've done. Well, good luck to this division. Y'all are gonna need it. Should be a fun season regardless. See you guys on the next one. Peace.